Hey guys, and welcome to another edition of Burton Ballers, and in today's video I'm going to be previewing our upcoming game against Newcastle United. So, could it be 3 defeats in a row? We haven't had three defeats. I can't remember the last time we had 3 defeats in a row. I think it was about 20 years ago that we had 2 defeats in a row. Now it's, Newcastle are playing quite well at the moment and Chelsea are struggling. So this is going to be another difficult fixture for Chelsea to navigate. Although I thought we played quite well in the game against Manchester City the other day. A lot of people may disagree, but I thought, we saw some signs of hopefully being able to turn the corner. But like last week, I'm going to do like a comparison of Chelsea and Newcastle because last week I called for patience and what happened with when Arsenal gave patience to Arteta and the type of football they're producing now. And today I'm going to be talking about another manager, Eddie Howe, and how there can be comparisons with Graham Potter because let's face it, if Eddie Howe was to be the new manager of Chelsea at the time, obviously it was not, we hadn't had the Newcastle job, we'll have the same sort of people talking about him. Oh, why are we replacing Thomas Tuchel with somebody who's not won anything? I think it would probably be worse because actually the last thing he did was got Bournemouth relegated. Some people are saying a manager who got Brighton to 9th or 10th place last season has got no business taking control of Chelsea. And so what did this? They'd have said the same thing about Eddie Howe. Managing a team of perennial strugglers in Bournemouth. Okay, he had them playing some decent football, but he didn't get them anywhere. Not realising, these guys who don't think properly, not realising that the budget of a Brighton or a Bournemouth isn't going to be enough to make them compete, no matter how good their manager is. But, let's stick with the agendas that people are having. So let me just take you through, because this is quite apt actually. As I said, similar types of managers, both known for playing attractive football and both not having won anything big in the game, both managing mid to low table sides in the league. And so Howe took over at Newcastle. Strange enough, they actually played Brighton in the first game that he took over from Steve Bruce. They drew that game 1-1, but he wasn't actually officially in charge. So I'm going to take you through some of the results when he first took over. His first match ended in a 3-3 draw at home to Brentford. Then they lost 2-0 to Arsenal, who weren't having a great season. And then they drew 1-1 with bottom of the league Norwich at the time. Then they had their first victory. They beat Burnley 1-0. Then after that, they got beat 4-0 by Leicester. They got beat 3-1 by Liverpool. Then they got beat 4-0 at home by Manchester City. Then they drew 1-1 with Manchester United. Then they drew 1-1 with another team who got relegated that season, Watford. Before they started to go on a run where, I think they went on a run which took them to, 9 or 10 games unbeaten before finally getting beaten 1-0 by Chelsea. So, can you imagine the calls of, sack Eddie Howe, he's doing nothing, he's come in, look at the results now. Obviously, they wouldn't have said we should have kept Steve Bruce, because no one would say that in their right mind. But anyway, what happened after that, as I said, the results started to pick up. Why did they pick up? Because after those first few games, he started to get to know his squad a bit more and understand his squad a bit more. And also, just after the window, actually, because we had the transfer window where he was able to buy some of his own players, and I think the results picked up. I think it was after. It's ironic that actually, because when did the results start picking up? 22nd of January was when the results started picking up. And why did they start picking up? Because he can get in his own players. He brought in the likes of Kieran Trippier, Guimaraes. Is it Guimaraes? I can never pronounce his name, but he was a big, he was a big change in that team. He made a big difference when he came into that side. And also they brought Dan Burn, they brought in. So what he was able to do is able to identify and pick players who can play in his system. And hey presto, results started to pick up. And then what they do this season, they've gone in and they've bought players again that he wanted, who can fit into their system. And guess what? They're third in the league at the moment. So he's had 2 transfer windows. He's implementing his style, and it's looking good for Newcastle. I'm not saying that they'll finish in the top 4, but at the moment they're well placed for a top 4 finish. Not only that, they're playing good, attractive football. This was a Newcastle side who didn't used to score a lot of goals. They were boring to watch under Steve Bruce, and he's kind of transformed the football. And now ask anyone from who supports Newcastle, and they are loving the football. I think 3 games in a row or 2 games in a row they've hit 4. They've got a great attacking unit, and not only are they scoring goals, they're very tight at the back as well. I think they've got the 2nd tightest defence in the league at the moment. So this is what we've got to deal with on Saturday. It's not going to be easy. They've got a well balanced side now. And why? Because Eddie Howe was being allowed to come in, get his own players who can fit into his system, and the results are there for all to see. And the other thing, I mentioned this in a video before, the fact that he similar to Arteta, that he's got a whole week with them. We've got no European football, so he's got a whole week on the training ground where he can instill his philosophy. And Potter hasn't been afforded that as yet. So when he has a proper pre-season and he can start to stamp his identity on the team, then that's when it's time to judge him. I've seen some nonsense over the last couple of days. Not only a couple of days, I think, as I said before, people were waiting for this guy to fail, and as soon as the results weren't going our way, the pens had already been, the knives had already been sharpened so they can stab him in his back. And it's just some of the things I've seen on social media and everything else has been pathetic. It's just ridiculous from a spoilt fan base. Some people on there may be watching it, but I'm not here to make friends. I'm just here to speak what I see, the truth. So I'm prepared to ride it out, as I said before. I'm prepared to be patient. I'm prepared to give. I give every manager who comes. I don't care who he is. I give every manager a fair crack at the whip. I'll give a proper critique as normal, but I'm not going to be shouting for someone's head after 3 or 4, 2 months into the job, 10 or 11 games. That's just ridiculous. And a lot of the other fan bases, they've always referred to Chelsea fans as plastic, and I can't even argue with them anymore, because what I'm seeing at the moment is a lot of plastic Chelsea fans out there, entitled, thinking that we've got a divine right to be challenging. A comment that Potter made yesterday, where he called Manchester City a top team, and anything he does now is just getting criticised. They're saying, how can he call them a top team? We're meant to be a top team as well. Okay, he didn't say we're not a top team. He just said they're a top team. And they failed to remember that Tuchel called them and Liverpool the 2 best teams in the league. No one was on Tuchel's back for saying something like that. But when Potter calls them a top team, all of a sudden it's our ambition is so low. How far have we fallen? According, not saying, admitting that we can't compete with these teams. He didn't say that we can't compete with these teams, but I'm saying that we can't compete with these teams at the moment. It's obvious. We haven't competed with these teams for a few years. Being good in 1 or 2 cups is okay. I don't want to be known as a cup team, as I keep saying. I want to be known as someone who's going to be challenging in the league week in, week out, because that's where our bread and butter is. So, guys, quick score prediction. I'm not confident again. As I said, if we play like we did on Wednesday, then maybe we can get something out of the game. But the problem for me is, we can, even if we do play to those levels, we need to be clinical in front of goal. It's just that final third which I have a problem with. We're just missing so many easy chances. There's nothing wrong with chance creation on Wednesday. It's just the way that we don't take our chances. So Newcastle have got a tight defence, so we can't afford to be wasteful in front of goal. So that being said, I think we may put in another good performance, but again, I think that we're not clinical in front of goal. Newcastle are going to win this game. Tight 1-0 victory for Newcastle. That's my prediction. Hope I'm wrong. But guys, stick your comments in the section below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on all post notifications to be notified every time I make a new video. Take care. Bye-bye.